All right. Wow. I guess the weather didn't keep you guys from getting here today, huh? Good afternoon. How is everyone doing? First snow of the season, and if you drive outside, you can tell because, wow, it is fun out there. At least that's the three-letter word I'm going to pick. So again, thank you for those of you that are joining us here at the State of the Castle. Quick show of hands, anybody's first time here at the State of the Castle? There we go. Mr. Bach, welcome. This is a setting where residents submit questions, we answer them, and we provide updates. And again, if there's questions throughout, it's always welcomed as well. But without further ado, I think Joe Schmidt's going to take up a good portion of this meeting with all the communications she has and all the wonderful work that your resident council is doing, along with, I think, some updates for Christmas at the Castle. So Joe, take it away. This will disallow Mike Breber today. No, just kidding. Here you go.
I already warned Mike that I was taking his turn, and too bad, so sad. So, hello. The results of the communication survey provided really valuable feedback and ideas for improvements. Thank you so much for getting those back in a timely manner. We had an over 70% response rate, which for a survey, if those of you from the corporate world, you know, that's huge. The changes are already in the works, which is great. And most of them came from you, suggesting changes that needed to be, that would make things better, would make things easier for you to get the information. That said, it's important to keep in mind that all of us receive information in different ways. And that is the reason for having several different tools for delivering the information. Some people like the app, and they really find that very, very useful. Other people don't find it useful at all, and they want something they can hold in their hand and put on their refrigerator and so forth. So we have the printed materials as well, the posters and the monthly calendar. And we will continue to offer a variety of options for receiving information. In January, Evan plans to offer a refresher course on using the app, something we can all benefit from attending, because I just learned that it is possible on the resident directory in the search mode to put in a keyword like bridge. And what pops up are the people who included the word like playing bridge in their bio, so you suddenly have a connection with 8 or 10 other people who maybe play bridge that you didn't know they did, and you can make a connection with them. So you might also want to take a look at your bio and see what keywords you've put in there. If you have an interest in sheep's head, for example. I've never understood that game, but okay, a lot of people do, and a lot of people love it. So think about putting some keywords into your bio that would maybe connect you with others. Improvements and additions to the app are already in the works, as I said. We also discussed Touchtown and the information on 955, and we discovered that a valuable link on our phones to this information is not listed. So we are putting, that is being corrected. The monitor in 1884 and the programming on channel 955, there's an improvement in the works to delete a listing once it has happened, which has been a problem. You know, they keep running, and it happened 3 days ago. So that's being updated to make that happen. A really popular thing are the e-blasts from Maureen and for Tyler and from Evan. And they are universally popular. I mean, I think we got 80 people out of the out of the 90 some people who answered the survey. 80 of you said that you liked having those and that you found them very valuable for you. But you also told us that you would be in favor of text messaging for things like cancellations or changes of venue or time as a more immediate kind of communication. So we're getting to work on that. That's the first part of the review. Tomorrow the Communications Committee, along with Tyler and Evan, will continue our review of what you told us about printed materials. The posters in the elevators, which are still the number one way that people get information, that you told us you get information. We have a new look coming for the posters in the elevators that you should see by the end of the year or early in 2025. The calendars, the newsletter, other printed materials like those things that appear on your ledge from time to time. I'll report on that meeting and those improvements when we talk in December. There was one thing I realized got left off the survey, and I want to have a quick show of hands since I have a captive audience here. There is a bulletin board behind the door above the mail slot where you do your outgoing mail in the mailroom. And on that bulletin board is coming events, birthdays, movies, the movie list, not the movie of the day. How many of you regularly look at that bulletin board? Okay. All right, that helps us then. All right. Christmas at the Castle. Christmas at the Castle, we have collected, thanks to our volunteers going out and calling on merchants, over $1,000 in gift cards and merchandise to put in the raffle baskets for the Christmas at the Castle. Yeah, it's really very, very special. In addition to that, the various departments here at ECP are offering gift certificates, I guess they are, for services here that will go into 2 special baskets that only ECP residents can put their tickets in those buckets for. And believe me, they are special baskets. And you're going to get a kick out of them. The baskets will go on display next Thursday, a week from today. 2 weeks from today, 2 weeks from today in the lobby. But tickets will go on sale a week from tomorrow on Black Friday, right after Thanksgiving, and they will be at half price for that day only. Tickets will be on sale in the 1884 room, and a morning shift and an afternoon shift, and we'll post the hours for you. The tickets are on Black Friday are $1 each. Then they go, starting on Monday, to $2 each or 3 for $5 is the way we're doing it. Remember that all of this money goes for our scholarship fund. This is our big fundraiser for our scholarship fund, and we hope that you will be generous in taking part in that. Finally, we could use one more person to assemble a basket. So if somebody's interested, see me after the meeting. Okay? Who's up?
Mike, she said she was going to go longer than you, just as a note. So, all right, next on the docket, thank you, Joe, and thank you again for all of your feedback on the various communications, as well as all of your assistance for the Christmas at the Castle. I know you've been working alongside the director team as well. Very excited to see that event come to fruition. Next up is Majarka, and then Majarka, just feel free to pass it on to Evan, and so on and so forth.
Good afternoon, everybody. Just wanted to give kind of a little reminder update on holidays. So today is actually the day we wanted residents to have reservations planned or booked for Thanksgiving. So if you guys if you plan on coming to Thanksgiving, if you could at least give us a call by tomorrow at the very latest, that would be great. We have a decent amount of reservations, a lot of larger groups with some families, so we just want to make sure we plan accordingly. Also, if you plan on ordering ordering takeout for that day, if you could try to get your order placed by the end of the weekend. Again, with us being a little bit larger this year for the holidays, we really don't have any gauge of what we expect. So we just want to make sure we don't run out of anything. And then also, Tanya should be putting out the information about Christmas at the Castle today. I put it on the app yesterday. So we would like reservations and things for Christmas at the Castle the Friday before Christmas at the Castle, which is Friday, December 6th. We have a pretty big menu plan for that day, using a lot of the space. I know last year we were pretty full, so we want to make sure that we have enough room to accommodate everybody. The only other update I have is some of you have been having issues with confirming reservations on the app. I talked to them this morning. They have fixed that bug. So now you can go ahead and make your reservations and invite other guests, and you get the confirmation screen now. So something had gotten into their software, so it's all fixed. Any other questions for myself? Yes.
Relative to the app, I have had trouble canceling an order. When I placed an order, I've goofed myself, and I push cancel on the app and nothing happens, so I call.
Okay.
To cancel it, but the app has cancel on it.
Let me take a look. I myself have never tried to cancel an order, so let me look and see what I can figure out, and I'll reach back out to you. Okay? Any other questions? All right, here's Evan.
Good afternoon, everyone. I don't have any questions. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I do have a few updates. So the first one is please stick around for Rita Bakalar's second part of her Africa, trip to Nigeria, I should say, talk today. And then I also have a few things I just want to say. So Arlene has a talk coming up in early December. If any of you have any interest in doing a talk, please see me. Would love to help you with that. The Amazing Grace course I also want to touch on is this Saturday. I want to thank Miss Heller and Miss Pierre. Is Pierre here? Okay, so I want to thank them for all their help in setting that up. It's a great group. They were here last year. Please come. It's at 4 o'clock on Saturday here in Lindsay Hall. And then also this Monday, upcoming Monday, Derek Mosley will be here giving his talk on unconscious bias. I don't know if has anyone seen that presentation? It's wonderful. So please come to that. But let's move forward to December. Did any of you see my email about calendars being out? Yes. Wonderful. So they are in the library. Please grab one. And I just want to touch base on a few things. I touched on base on Arlene's talk. The community choir will be on the 15th. There's two performances, one at 3:30 and one at 6:30. We also have our decorations for floors. Who won last year? Fourth floor. The fourth floor. So this year we're going to be picking a winner from each building. So please get to decorate. Get together. Again, this is judged as a floor. So get together with your neighbors and let's see what you got. I heard Santa's going to be roaming the hallways soon. So get ready. Show us what you got. The last thing I want to talk about is Christmas at the Castle. So I don't know if some of you already got the calendar, but there's an itinerary there. So we have brunch. After the brunch, we have what I'm calling Santa's Workshop. So that's going to be some fun things, mainly geared towards grandkids. So if you have any grandkids that are interested, please have them come. Would love to make this a family affair. There's going to be some cookie decorations. Santa's going to be there. If you have any grandkids or little ones that are going to be coming, please let me know so I can do something special for them. And then the music is going to be at 2 o'clock, followed by the reception. So thank you to Joe and all those who have been gearing up and helping with getting Christmas at the Castle going. Any questions for me?
Will you be Santa?
Barry, I thought we talked about this. I thought you were Santa. I might be a little more fit for the bill, though. But we'll have to see. I don't know. We'll see who's Santa.
Is he coming to the North Pole?
He's coming from the North Pole, that's right. And he's going to be walking the floor, so he'll be here early. Any other questions for me? If not, I'll pass it on to Mr. Reaver.
Thank you, Evan. I just have a couple of things to talk about today. Settle back, it won't take more than 20 minutes. I do want to begin by complimenting Bob Faraday and the Employee Appreciation Fund. We're at 86 donors so far, which is, absolutely fabulous. This might be the best we've ever done, but there are 112 units here. I know a lot of you, maybe not a lot of you, but many of you have just recently moved in, so there's extenuating circumstances, but, we're grateful for all who have donated. There is still an opportunity for those of you who have not donated. The fund will go through Monday morning. There is a blue box on the table in the fireplace room, the first floor library. It's labeled as Employee Appreciation Fund. Feel free to drop something in if you would care to. And I do apologize. This year is a little bit expedited. It's because of the way payrolls occur in the month of December. There's only 2 payrolls for our staff in December, December 6th and December 20th. We've chosen to distribute the Employee Appreciation Fund on December 6th so that the employees who benefit from it have an opportunity to utilize it for the Christmas holiday. That backs everything up, and basically we have to wrap up the collection so that accounting can do their thing. I mean, all I do is help Bob collect the money. Dispersing the money comes up to somebody else, and I have to give them enough time to do it. I am very pleased. You and your neighbors have been very, very innovative this year. We've received contributions through credit cards, through checks, through cash. We've had your neighbors have donated through their donor-advised funds. I've had people donate from qualified charitable distributions from their IRA. And if you want an explanation of an inactive versus active SEP for a QCD from an IRA, come and see me and I'll be glad to walk you through that. Believe it or not, there is a way to donate from your SEP, a simplified employee pension plan, but it's not worth going into for all of you today. Moving on, in terms of the treasure chest, I do want to thank all of you that are being very active with things, but we do need more volunteers. If any of you would like to get active in an extremely worthwhile effort, please see Jane Peterson or myself, or maybe just talk to one of the volunteers. Come down, join them for a session, and see just how easy it really is. But we've gotten to the point where, although we have an active list of 25 names, there's about 15 that are filling all of the slots, and it's just a matter of attrition. We would love to have you join us, so please come and see us. I'm very pleased to announce that in the last month, one of your neighbors has donated a car to East Castle Place. That car has already sold at auction. East Castle will receive about $12,000 as a result of that, based on the wishes of the donor. The funds are being given to the Community Enrichment Fund. The Community Enrichment Fund is a vehicle for you to have input on how things that have fallen through the budget cracks at East Castle Place can still come to pass. We bought things like a recumbent bicycle from it. We redid the rooftop garden. We put electric door openers on things. If you come to the Community Enrichment Fund with a suggestion, your neighbors who staff that committee will have a chance to vote on it and decide whether it's a good idea or not. Since we started the car donation program, we have netted $28,000 from that. I'm very pleased to say that. What do you gain if you donate a vehicle that you're not using? I don't want to make you carless if you're still very actively driving. You save the monthly fees that you're paying on your parking right now. You get a tax write-off from East Castle Place based on the value of the donation. And I will also tell you that right now, used cars are at a premium on the resale market. You would maximize the impact of a donation if you were to do something right at this point in time. I will also tell you that as a donor, you have the right to stipulate how those funds get used, and we as a nonprofit honor that. We also honor whether or not you want us to publicize your name or you remain anonymous, and we adhere to that as well. I do want to thank all of you who participated in the food and clothing collection for Nourish MKE. Used to be known as Freedom's Community Ministries. We have an entire pallet full of food and winter clothes that we were supposed to deliver this morning. Mia Lamazzi and I were going to drive it over there. Obviously, the weather got in the way. We're going to drop it off tomorrow. I do want to remind you the very same charity will be the beneficiary of an effort from ours in December. We'll be collecting toys. Nourish MKE runs a series of 5 food pantries throughout the greater Milwaukee area. They serve over 3,000 families, 3,000 individual families on an annual basis. For those of you who want to learn more about Nourish Milwaukee, Valerie McMillan, the executive director of Nourish Milwaukee, is going to be my guest host on my trivia show on Thursday, the 12th of December. Come on down, get a free donut, ask Valerie some questions, ask her just what happened to that, that soup that you donated. How did they use something like that? And she'll be very happy to explain it. It's a great cause, and thanks to all of you. I do want to thank all of you who've worked with Jo and all of her volunteers on Christmas with the Castle. I know going out and collecting contributions is not always the easiest thing. It's not for everybody. But those of you that have, you really stepped up to the plate. And I thank each and every one of you. It's going to be the best year ever, I think. And as Jo has pointed out, all the funds go to support the scholarship program. We've given away over $70,000 in scholarships in the last 6 years. Something I think all of us can be very proud of. And a lot of it is because of, all of it's because of the volunteers who do things like Christmas at the Castle and the treasure chest and things like that. So thank you to all of you. You are the real treasure in all of this, and I thank you. That's it. I also, one final thing. You all participated in lunch fundraisers and things like that for Alzheimer's Association. I don't know if you realize just how well it went. We were able to donate $6,100 to the Alzheimer's Association this year from things like that. My thanks to Mia Lamazzi, not only for that, but for Nourish MKE. She did a wonderful job helping with that. Jen does a great job with that as well. We actually were honored at the most recent awards ceremony. We had the second largest amount of money raised by a senior care facility in this local chapter of Alzheimer's Association. So congratulations to all of you. Congratulations to Mia, to Jen, and everybody who helped staff those things. Any questions for me? With that, I'm going to turn it over to Eric. There you go. I
Thank you, Mike.
for you. You sure did.
Okay, everyone. I just want to start off by thanking everyone for your cooperation with the garage cleaning over the past couple weeks. I know it's a pain to get your car out of there and moved and all the rest of it, so thank you very much. It helped the guys quite a bit be able to get through the process. Into the questions. First one I'll take on is Leslie and Ian's responsibility changes. So we're always kind of looking at some of the dynamics in the department. I like to shuffle things up once in a while to keep things focused and fresh. But more specifically in this regard, it was Leslie previously was overseeing laundry, and Ian was overseeing housekeeping. For some clarity, I reshuffled some of their responsibilities because they worked very closely together. Leslie took on Ian's portion of the independent living housekeepers, and Ian took on a little more responsibility in the health center. Some of that's to help focus them from the entire facility down to more specific areas so they can expedite response to your requests and make sure that we're keeping up with the assurance checks, quality assurance checks on our staff to make sure that they have everything they need to succeed and that you're happy with the service. So that was some of the movement there, but nothing too major. Housekeepers stay the same. None of the
4 techs have gone anywhere. It's just kind of shuffling up who's managing their schedules. Next question is the water at East Castle Place tested for lead? What is the condition and replacement plan for our lead pipes? Good news, there is no plan for replacing your lead pipes because you don't have lead pipes. Normally when I know that came up a couple of years ago in Milwaukee, we would have likely been notified had it been a lead pipe problem. And really what they're talking about, so folks know, is it's the lateral pipe from the street into the building that was predominantly the issue. That pipe in many cases was lead just because of the older homes in Milwaukee. And it wasn't a problem because most times it's pressurized, all those little particulates stay on the pipe, and it wasn't as much of an issue, but I think they started degrading beyond that and it did end up underwater. But I did go one step further. I looked up on the Milwaukee Waterworks website. They have a nice little link for it because it's a hot subject. And you can go to a link and you can look at the areas that are affected. So if you type in our address, it'll zoom in on East Castle Place and you will see that we have a nice blue square box, which means we are not affected. We do not have lead pipes. There are some areas that are assumed to have lead, but not confirmed. There's others that are confirmed. Shows a whole map of the area, but we are firmly out of that, out of the scope of that problem. Lighting in Lake Terrace is too bright. Excuse me. Lighting in the garage is too dim. So I'll break that question up. Lighting in Lake Terrace is too bright. I don't think I got a chance to have Roman Electric as the folks who installed the equipment over there. We use them a lot for different things here. When Rod is out next time, I need to have him look at the lighting controls. Much of the lights we had are used to 120 volts. Over there, it's all low voltage, okay? So I need to make sure that the controllers and the actual end fixtures can handle dimming controls. I'm not entirely certain. Sometimes it's not as obvious as you would think. So when he's out next, I'll have him evaluate that. If that's the case, the company that did the controls would have to come back out to do some modification. And to what degree that is, I'm not entirely certain yet, but I do have a meeting with Rod tomorrow. So I will drag him over there and get a better understanding of what that looks like and be able to report back as to what we came up with. The other part of that is lighting in the underground garage is too dim. I think specifically that comes off of a question from last meeting about the lines being, not able to see in the Bradford Terrace underground garage. I would say for the most part, unless someone hear differently, Contemporary and Lake Terrace, North Point and Lake Terrace, the lighting in there is fairly good. But we've swapped a lot of those fixtures out from the fluorescents to LEDs. While the bulbs still look the same, they're actually LED bulb fixtures now. Bradford Terrace underground garage, however, has LED bulbs in the fixtures, but the fixtures are a little bit older. So when Ron is out here from Roman Electric, we're going to look at either fixture replacements I can do to brighten things up, or is it something more where I have to run conduit and add additional lights? So we're going to take a look at that as well. Next question is, will the list of units with window problems be addressed before the end of the year? What that is primarily touching on, I believe, is over the winter stands, we have a couple of units, not one more than a couple, probably half a dozen or so, specifically that have been in contact with me over ice forming on the windows. So we had done is there's 2 specific apartments I've worked with that have had some window replacements, okay? Not necessarily full windows, but glass. One of the concerns is that the the gas barrier between the 2 panes, because we have double pane windows, that gas has diminished, and that could impact the amount of cold that's making it through the window. The other part is there's the potential that the aluminum has some effect to it, that the transition from cold from the outside coming through the aluminum framed windows is affecting some of that ice. Some of that may be on the scope of what we're able to fix immediately. But really what we focused on is the windows that were a problem. 2 units that have volunteered, we had some window replacements to identify if the glass will fix the problem. For most everyone else, and there's a couple that have contacted me, some of it's just the way the windows are closed. So one of the things we'll be doing here in the next month is your filter replacements. There's a couple of things we're going to touch on this round of stopping by your apartments. It'll be the filter replacement. We're also going to be replacing the batteries in your carbon monoxide detectors, and then also making sure that everyone has those carbon monoxide detectors. And another part of that is we're going to come around and make sure your windows are locked. I know it sounds silly, you know how to lock them, close them. But specifically in the North Point Terrace building, the way those windows come together, there's a specific closure that if it is locked correctly and the two couplings come together, it basically pushes and reinforces the weather stripping. When that's done, more often the windows will work the way they're supposed to during the winter months. So we'd like to come around and do that to make sure the windows are functioning the way they're supposed to. Sometimes when I've had to come and we're having problems with some ice forming where the two windows meet, by that point it's a big block of ice. There's not a lot I can do other than wait for a day where it thaws and then come back and lock them. But we're going to try to come through and minimize that when we come through the filters. So likely Kendall and Jordan will be tasked with that when they come around to take care of those items. But you'll get a notice in the email. Any other questions of the ones that were submitted? Yes, Jim?
I have a question on appendix.
Yes.
What is the purpose of those? That's probably a basic question, but I'm not sure I know the answer to that.
Oh, that's a good question. Something that's good to review. So the idea behind the pendants is, we're in a community where you can fall, a variety of things can happen. The worst thing is to come to a community where you're supposed to be taken care of and enrich your lives, and then we lose you in your apartment because you fell and broke a hip. This way, if you have your pendant, it's another layer of security to be able to get our attention to your needs. In some ways, it's no different than having that check-in button in the morning. Now, if you're a couple, that's probably a little less necessary, but when you're single, that's really important to be able to press that to get our response and be able to ensure that you're okay. So to your point with the pendants, the intention is that anywhere in this complex, the way it's set up, we have a bunch of, they're routers attached near the ceiling, all around the entire complex, including the garage space. That if you press your pendant, it'll come up that Eric presses pendant as an example, but it will triangulate the location within the facility that you need your attention. So it could be in the garage, you're unloading something from the car, you slip, you fall, you hit your head. It could be a lot of different things. We have them set up as an example, not just the pendants, the same process, but we have help stations in different areas. Like we added one to the wood shop because things can happen. It's good to have a way of getting an immediate response to your needs, aside from looking for your cell phone and being able to call the front desk for help. So it's just a quick, easy process. The reality is we strongly encourage that you take them because accidents sound as they are, they're unplanned. So that's why we'd like for you to have them with you, but some people use them a little less than others, and that's their choice.
So when you hit it, what is that? Who gets that?
Okay, good question. So when you press the pendant, who gets that? So we have these, I don't have a good example, but it looks like a cell phone. It's orange and black. Those specific phones are not phones because they're not connected to a cellular signal. They're connected to our Wi-Fi. And they're set up solely to the program we use is called R-Care. So anytime you press that button, there's a group window. So everyone that's attached to that group gets an alert, okay? So the ones that are attached to it are those we've defined to be your responders. So on first shift, Teresa has a phone, the front desk has a phone, fourth floor nurse has a phone, okay? So they're notified immediately, all at the same time that there's a call. Now we have a procedure in place as to who's supposed to come at what time. So as an example, a lot of times if it's independent living, the front desk is going to call you, and they're just going to check that everything's okay, because the reality is, thankfully, more often than not, it's an accidental alarm, okay? So we want to make sure we're checking that you're okay. If it is, we tell you how to reset it, you move on with your day. If it's not, then we're going to go ahead and send a nursing response over. On third shift, security is going to call, otherwise security is going to come to your home to make sure you're okay. The nice thing about the new system is it has an escalation. So if the initial response team doesn't show up within 15 minutes and reset your alarm, then it's going to escalate. So in that instance, it sends out a text message to all the managers that are responsible for the independent living areas. Those managers get a text message letting them know that a pendant has been going off for more than 15 minutes. If it's been going off for more than 30 minutes, then it escalates again and sends out a text message to Tyler, Lindsay, and myself to make sure we initiate a response. So there's some redundancy there to make certain that those responses are happening as we believe that they need to.
So one further question.
That's okay.
So I've taken a bad fall, I've hit my button, the nurse shows up,
Yep.
and she helped me up.
We're a no-lift facility, so in that instance, she cannot. But she can help facilitate the individuals that can. So a lot of times, I forget the actual number, Tyler or Teresa know it better than I do, but they can still dispatch someone to help pick you up. but we cannot. But there's a variety of things. I mean, I've showed up on scene to a few of those instances. A lot of times it's just knowing that someone's there with you. I've had residents say that it felt like hours, it might have been 30 minutes, but having East Castle respond to the incident and be able to stay there with you through when help can arrive to either take you out or simply, in your case, just to get you up, we're here to be able to do that to make sure that you're being attended to and not just left in your apartment.
Thank you.
You're welcome. John?
The question that just occurred to me, and maybe other people know this, but I live in Lake Terrace, you know, and next to the light switch, there's another switch that looks identical, but it doesn't turn the lights on and off. And I'm not sure what that's for and whether it should be in a certain position.
You talking the smaller white box with the red button on it?
No, I'm talking about,
The physical switch?
yeah, the lights right next to the light switch. There are two
On the
switches.
wall?
On the wall,
That's
yes.
for the wiring along the bottom. If that's not on, you can't plug in.
I'm not sure if it's in the bathroom though. That's usually a living room scope.
No, it's
Oh, I'm sorry.
living room, bedroom.
That's
Oh,
to
yeah.
for the bottom outlets are all the way around the room.
Yeah, that's,
So it does have to be in a certain place.
It has to
no, it's just whether it powers that bottom outlet. It's typical for if you have lamps in your living room, you plug them into the bottom and then you can switch the lamps on and off. So if you have any more questions, I can certainly have someone stop by and look at it with you. Okay, any other questions? All right, moving along back to Tyler.
All right, thank you, Eric. And again, the direction will be skipping around just a little bit. So again, if you have those additional questions about pendants, see Teresa Jenkins, maintenance things, Eric, but want to be cognizant of our 2 o'clock time frame for Rita Backlash. So Lindsay and her team are actually at a conference right now, so I thought I'd just give you a brief health center update on her behalf. This is an annual conference for the team to get education, to network, but more importantly, work with, providing the best care for you. So we are still awaiting our annual survey. That annual survey, technically, our window should end at next week, so we anticipate them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but the state sometimes doesn't pay attention to themselves and come when they want. So we are anticipating before the end of the year to have our annual survey for the state surveyors. We currently have no COVID or RSV cases within independent living nor anywhere on campus. Obviously, continue to use precaution. If you aren't feeling well in the dining room, or if you aren't feeling well, to call the front desk or Teresa Jenkins. They will be happy to follow up with you. And again, if you are coughing, sneezing, don't head to the dining room. Have the food and beverage team deliver your food to you, just as extra precaution for your neighbors. So that is the health center update. Next up is Jenna Potter. Jenna was with us for about 3.5-4 months. She was our associate administrator. Jenna has decided to explore other career opportunities and is no longer with East Castle Place or Life Care Services. If you remember, she was from Kentucky, so there were some matters back home that she wanted to take a look at and pertain to. So she appreciated all of her experiences at East Castle Place, and again, we wish her very well on her decision to explore her next steps, whatever they may be. Next is just continue to update on the holidays. Obviously, we're in that season. I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving, since I don't know if I'll see everybody in this type of setting before Thanksgiving. But you may see some staff members not here as they're visiting with their families and friends. But with that, I want to assure you that we will always have staff members here to care for you and your needs. So obviously, Evan and Majarka kind of went through the holiday schedules, but just wanted to know, your housekeeping schedule may change slightly. I'm sure Leslie will be reaching out to you. Maintenance, we're always going to have a maintenance tech here. We'll have security overnight. The front desk will be staffed. But again, you just may notice some fewer bodies. But again, if there's urgent needs, those will be addressed. Again, the front desk has all our directors' numbers as well as mine. So, not to be concerned. Belfiore will be here the day after. I guess that would be Black Friday. next Friday, putting up the holiday decor in the common areas. So again, that is something that East Castle Place is responsible for to enhance the holidays for you all. Your hallway competitions, I think Evan kind of put that out there for you. Can't wait to walk the halls and see everything that you put up. But the common area corridors will be responsible for Belfiore, so you will see a couple Belfiore elves here on Friday. Maureen will be helping them direct to where to go, but they're familiar with us. So if they don't get it all done on Friday, they will be back on Saturday. The next question I'm actually really excited to share with you. Spectrum, first time ever. I'm excited to talk about Spectrum. Channel 31, the Bucks were on last night. Yay. Channel 31 is back, so again, that's Bally Sports. It's now called FanDuel Sports Wisconsin, but that's going to have all your Bucks games, your Brewers games, and various channels. A channel guide is forthcoming. It's sitting on my desk in pen that you cannot read, so I need to put that on paper. But there's about 2,500 channels that you guys have. Well, not 2,500. I guess it's a little older. Over 500 channels that you all have access to. So again, it's not going to be a 9.5 or a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. It might be a book. But I'm going to put those paper programs together for you so you can look at that, and that will include Channel 31, which we're all very excited about. And then my last question is actually a good one because it re-sparked something that completely fell off my radar, and I apologize for that. And that's what happened to the plan for the T-Coil sound system in Lindsay Hall. So the T-Coil, again, goes back to if any of you have hearing aids, that you are able to direct tune into what's coming through this microphone and have it directly put in your ear. That's something that we initially wanted to do with the sound system we had previous to this sound system, but unfortunately never came to fruition. And then something that has not happened with this sound system. So I have reached back out just to see what that would look like and the capabilities of that. But essentially, if any of you have these, they're very often common at church settings or larger settings, out in the greater public, auditoriums, for instances. Again, is that something necessary for here? Because of, obviously, we're in one, not small room by any means, but not an auditorium by the other stretch. So, again, I'm happy to explore that and see if it's worthwhile. If you have thoughts and say, you know what, Tyler, I have a hearing aid. I do have a tough time hearing you when you're utilizing the microphone. Feel free to give me that feedback. If you're saying, Tyler, you know, I think the new sound system is meeting the needs, I would love to hear that as well. So again, that's the question, but I appreciate whoever wrote that in so that I can follow back up on that. With that, that does end the questions, but I'll ask, is there any questions that any of you have out there? If not, I will just end with just the program note that's bolded. We're really keeping you on your toes because State of the Castle is on Tuesday. That is not a misprint. It is going to be on a Tuesday, December 17th. The reason for that is Evan and you all are very busy apparently on Thursday, December 19th, when I thought, you know, that would be the day. But Evan said, hey, can we do it on Tuesday because the residents have something more important? I said, absolutely. So Tuesday, December 17th, we'll make sure that's posted in the elevators and on the app. If we did it on the fourth Thursday, it would be the day after Christmas, and that is a day that I don't know how many of you would want to attend, nor do I know how many of the directors are going to be in attendance. So, hence the reason for the change of Tuesday, December 17th. I appreciate in advance your understanding, as well as look forward to seeing you all there. With that, please do get up, stretch, but then plan to stick around for what I've seen as a packed house for Dr. Rita Backlar's trip to Nigeria. Is that it? You live there. I should read and should attend this one, I guess. So again, that'll be at 2 o'clock. So shortly here following. And with that, happy Thanksgiving to you all. And I'm thankful for you each and every day. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Again, if you do have to walk outside, please be safe. It is that time of the year where we go from 60 degrees on Monday to this. So we all will work through that, right? We're all from Wisconsin. Enjoy. Have a wonderful afternoon.